behind.
4 minutes, yeah.
But yeah, here we are, folks. If you are watching our live show right now or the recorded version, this, of course, is the Stormfront Freaks podcast, and we've got Bruce Jones from Midland Radio on this evening, and we're going to be talking about his time as a meteorologist, but then we're going to take a look at some of the great stuff that Midland has as well, and things you might be someone might want in their stockings later on this holiday season. So that'll be kind of fun. So welcome everybody that might be watching, and Phil was having some audio problems, so we're waiting for Phil to show up, and then we're going to get going. So.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yay. Kim, it's so good to see you. Your hair looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. I just got it done. How are you guys?
You too? I just had mine done too yesterday.
Oh, no.
Looking good.
That's much better, Phil.
Okay.
So.
Is anybody waking up early for the lunar eclipse?
Oh, I was thinking about it.
Tomorrow?
There is tonight.
Yeah.
Like
tonight,
full moon,
tomorrow
full
night.
moon.
Well, it's been like the first time in 1,000 years or something like
Really?
that, or since 1440. Like
I don't know. I saw
Google
one
it.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
No, but this is I think
I remember that.
This is like one to happen on November 18th. Hasn't happened since then.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Is it everywhere, or is it only in certain parts?
oh my God, let me see.
Maybe
here.
that's
I'm
it.
gonna-
Maybe it's
Bruce, how you doing?
Everybody in North
Doing
America
good.
can see it.
Doing good.
Hi, Bruce.
Hey, how are you? How's
Good.
everybody?
How are you? We're good.
Let's see. Kim, tap your microphone, please.
Uh-oh. Is it not working? Do you hear anything?
Kind of. I think it's work. Is that Phil? Do you think that's it?
Yeah, it sounds like she's
Okay.
tapping it, but she does
Good.
have an echo.
I have an echo. Okay. What do I have to do? Anything?
No, it's not bad. It's like
not-
a
no,
room,
it's
just
fine.
like a big
It's
room
fine.
echo,
It's
like
fine.
maybe you're using your computer.
Brady, tap yours.
You're good.
Okay.
Getting in the. Yep, Jen.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I'm just getting in the habit of doing that because
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Not a bad habit.
had that not happen.
Bruce, tap your microphone.
There you go.
Perfect. Well, how you doing tonight, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
good,
you're
How you
sir.
been? I haven't seen you for a long time. Good to see
I'm
you.
doing good. Yeah, it's good to be here, and y'all look great. Nobody's aged. This is wonderful.
Oh,
always
True
good.
facts.
Wow.
True
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, we're
Thank
good.
you.
We have you back again, Bruce. Nice.
I definitely aged though. I'm getting gray hair, so
Yeah.
starting.
Oh, great.
Starting.
That's because Ohio State's football team, right?
You're right.
Oh.
It's stressing me out.
What about Cincinnati? Okay.
All right, so obviously we're already at least live to anybody that's watching.
And I did say something.
You
so.
did an intro, cool. So we're clear. All right, so here's what we'll do, everybody. I'll do the normal little pre-opening plug that I'll do, and then we'll start. I'll do the normal intro. And then we'll find out what everybody's drinking tonight. Bruce, you might have forgot. We always drink on this show. I don't know. Oh, you the man.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
There you
That's
go.
a drink.
There you go.
You the man.
Yeah.
Brother after my own heart.
Oh, my gosh.
Not playing around.
Oh, I love you. All right, so what we do is we introduce the co-hosts that are on tonight and find out what they're drinking, which just kind of sets up the fun fact. We like to have a good time on this weather show. And then, Kim, you've got Bruce's intro.
I do.
And so what my ultimate goal, obviously we can kind of go anywhere with this a little bit, but this first segment, I would like to talk a little bit about and ask Bruce about kind of the history of weather radio and, kind of find out and educate our listeners a little bit on that, but also, get Bruce's input on where he thinks it's going and the future of weather radio. Here's my guess, Bruce, is that, we do have a lot of obviously weather freaks and storm freaks that listen to the show. And so I certainly believe they all think and know and believe in their heart that you need ways, obviously, to be informed of severe weather. But I'm willing to bet, and you'd probably have a better guess than I would, that a lot of them, especially the younger crowd, just think, hey, I've got my phone, I'm good. right? And it's not having the multiple and redundant sources that you kind of need to have. So I think that's also a route we can go. But I'd like to focus on the weather radio itself and the history of that, and get Bruce's thoughts on that and where it might be going. And then obviously you guys, beyond that, you can ask Bruce whatever you want. But then the second part, we'll go to break around the bottom of the hour or so, right around there. And when we come back for the second part, we'll kind of then, Bruce, will start hitting some of the Midland products and kind of going through a lot of that stuff. Does that work?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? You good with that?
Yeah.
Yep. Phil, can you back off just a little bit? You are peaking, I think.
Yep. I peak a lot.
Yes,
Is that any better? Is that too
But
quiet?
you haven't peaked yet,
No,
Phil.
I think that's
You're still
better.
crescendoing.
Is that about good?
Yes. Well,
Okay. All right. I'll keep it there.
Yeah, that's better. I do.
Jump in the comments if you need to
Yep. Absolutely.
tell me more. Private chat, I mean. All right, guys, let's do this. I will do the little intro plug here in 3, 2. Hello, Storm Freaks. It's Phil, and it is our holiday special with Midland meteorologist Bruce Jones. And of course, we have our hashtag Weather Fools and a holiday visit from Weather Trollbot 5000. It's all on episode 145 of the Stormfront Freaks. All right, here we go. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Coming in, 3, 2. Hey, welcome everybody to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. We want to say a special thanks to our Patreon members that are supporting the show and those that are actually joining us live tonight. You can also join us at patreon.com/StormfrontFreaks to be live with us in the chat or even on the show with our guests like Dan and Angela are tonight as well. But you guys know, unless this is the first time you happen to be listening to the show, episode 145, you got some catching up to do. But we always introduce our co-hosts, find out who's with us tonight by finding out what they're drinking. It's stepping up to the bar. It's always happy hour when we record. So I'm going to go to MJ, our producer and Sky Warden coordinator up in Minnesota. What are you drinking, MJ?
All right, it's a Captain night, Captain and Coke.
Like it. I like it.
I like the Mickey glass.
Isn't it nice?
That's good. So I will jump in. I normally don't jump in because everybody already knows who this voice belongs to. But I was on a anniversary trip to Key West, and we stopped at the Duval Street distillery and got a little spiced
Nice.
rum.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yum.
That
But
looks
it's a little
amazing.
different. I'll tell you what, it's a little different than your normal Captain Morgan or Kraken. It's kind of got some of the Christmassy spices to it. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Goes good with a Coke.
Maybe a little clove.
Goes good with a Coke.
Happy
Yeah,
anniversary,
I think it
Phil.
does. Well,
Hopefully
thank
you
you.
guys have an awesome
Yeah.
time.
Great.
Thank you. All right, Jen. Hey, our contributor and former social media specialist at the Weather Channel. Jen, what do you got tonight?
Oh my gosh, nothing really that exciting. Sparkling water, but the exciting thing about this, it has vitamins and antioxidants. So I'm trying to be healthy.
Ooh.
Always
Okay. Okay.
I'm speaking at an event tomorrow, so I have to be on stage. So I can't really get too crazy. I never get.
There's
crazy.
always something, Jen. There's
Yeah.
always something. Always something. Brady, atmospheric science major from the Ohio State University. What are you drinking?
Go Bucks. I'm having a little red wine tonight. Like Jen, I'm trying to keep it, nice and healthy. So having some red wine.
I like it.
Good.
Very good.
Smart.
All
Smart. Brady.
right, and then we got Kim, former on-camera meteorologist at the Weather Channel. Kim, welcome back. What are you drinking?
Thank you. I'm drinking red wine as well, Brady. There we
Nice.
go.
Nice.
This is actually a Merlot. It's
Ooh.
Apothic. Apothic red. They do.
Yeah.
Merlot. It's really good. But I have to show you, Phil. I think we were on the same wavelength.
Oh, no kidding.
Look at
No
that.
kidding.
Oh,
Ta-da.
Key West.
look at that.
I like that.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh, it's a blast. Woo-wee. Have a lot of fun there.
Well, I hear it depends on when you go. It can be pretty exciting down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I'll leave it at that. So Kim, I'll leave it to you to
Okay.
bring in our esteemed guest.
All right, love to do this. All right, Bruce, welcome back to the show. And for those of you who don't know Bruce, for over 13 years, Bruce has promoted Noaa's weather radios for Midland Radio Corporation. He has almost 30 years as a meteorologist with Midland and KMBC TV in Kansas City, and as the chief meteorologist at KSNT TV in Topeka. All right, Bruce, thank you again for joining us tonight. And for those who maybe don't know you or haven't heard you before, I'm interested again to hear maybe how you went from television to working for Midland Radio. How did you make that jump? I mean, what happened in between there?
Well, actually, Kim, it really wasn't that much of a jump because I'll date myself here. I started in broadcasting in 1976. Wow. And I worked for a news talk radio station down in Columbia, Missouri. And we did a lot of wall-to-wall weather coverage. And at the time, I told my listeners, or our listeners, hey, get a Noaa weather radio. And then when it goes off, you turn to KFRU and we'll walk you through the storm. And so at every radio station that I ever worked for, we just did this kind of wall-to-wall severe weather coverage. The next station I worked for in Columbia, Missouri was an FM station, KCMQ. And when I went to work for them, I must say we were at the bottom of the ratings barrel. We were the lowest of the low. But I bought a rack-mounted Noaa weather radio receiver, and I put it in the rack out in the transmitter room, and then we had that hardwired into our control board. So every time there was severe weather, we could bring Noaa weather radio right up on the air. So combination of playing good music and doing fun stuff and contests and severe weather coverage using Noaa weather radio, we went from worst to first in about 18 months. And we ended up with a 41% share of the audience in mid-Missouri. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I know. And it was all because, we're using the power of instantaneous severe weather information to put people at ease and to let them know, hey, we're here for you. And, you're going to be okay. Just listen to this broadcast and we'll walk you through the storm and so on and so forth. So I've been advocating for Noaa weather radio since 1976. And so I did that on television, I did that on radio. And then 13 years ago, Midland said, well, why don't you come work for us and help us do this nationwide? So now instead of my voice just being on one station, I can work with TV stations. We've worked with the Weather Channel. We've worked with CNN. We've worked with a lot of different operations just to tell people there's this radio-based alerting system that gives you a live broadcast that comes direct from the National Weather Service. It comes to you faster than your phone. It comes to you faster than the apps. It comes to you faster than the outdoor sirens. It is the fastest way to get severe weather information, and it's coming from the official source, the National Weather Service. So to me, it's always been a no-brainer. If you live in the United States of America, you should have one of these in your home. But, a lot of people think, well, it'll never happen to me, so I'll just rely on my cell phone and leave it at that. So I advocate on behalf of the Noaa Weather Radio Network as a whole. I work with National Weather Service, with emergency managers, with media folks like you, just to get the word out that you need to have multiple redundant ways of getting this information because any system can fail in a storm.
Bruce, I love that history. I think it's so intriguing. And I would love to know, because looking back at weather radios, was it more so only for marine weather? When did tornado warnings and that get incorporated into everything?
Oh, well, that's a great question, Jennifer. It did start out, it was a broadcast that started in the 1960s. And it was for the boats out on the Great Lakes, those giant ore carriers and the big boats like that. And for the boats off of New England, the lobsters and lobster fishermen and all that stuff. And then it was also a broadcast that would be at little airports around the country. So if you were a private plane pilot, you could tune into this frequency and it would give you the constant weather at that airport. So it really started out as aviation and marine service. But in 1965, April of 1965, we had the Palm Sunday tornado outbreak. And in the aftermath of that thing, at the time, the U.S. Weather Bureau did an assessment of what worked and what didn't work. And part of their assessment was the warnings were coming so fast and furious that we couldn't keep up with them at the Weather Bureau. The TV and radio stations couldn't keep up with them. The police departments couldn't keep up with them. We need to have some kind of an automatic alerting service that'll do these alerts automatically. So at that point in time, they started looking at these radio frequencies and said, hey, let's use that as our alerting system. So that was 1965 and the Palm Sunday outbreak. And then you go ahead to the super outbreak of April 3rd, 1974. Same situation again. So many tornado warnings at once that the system couldn't keep up. And they said, well, we've got a couple of hundred of these NOAA weather radio stations now. Let's expand that out. So they got more and more radio stations, more of these broadcast towers. And then we also had some bad weather in the early 1990s. And Vice President Al Gore was like, look, we got to have better ways to get these warnings out. So once again, they expand the network. And now there are 1,033 transmitters in the NOAA Weather Radio Network. Wow. And they send a signal to 95% of the U.S. population can pick up this signal if you'll just buy a little receiver.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah, it came out of necessity. You know, we have the craziest weather on earth in this country. It's just, I mean, we get everything. Hurricanes, blizzards, ice storms, tornadoes, flash floods. We get everything. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to try to get these warnings out, it's difficult. You need these automatic systems to do it because we can all get busy doing something else and not pay attention to what's going on and suddenly not realize something really bad's heading toward our house.
Bruce, what would you say has been the biggest advancement so far in the NOAA weather radio?
Well, you know, when they first came out, the radio would listen to the local transmitter and it would go off for everything that came off of that transmitter. And so each transmitter covers maybe 10 counties. So your little radio was going off with warnings for counties that were 3 and 4 counties away from you. It drove everybody buggy. And so around 1999, or I think it was somewhere around there, they came out with specific area message encoding, SAME. And then you could tell the radio, hey, I only want you to go off from my county. But now we've got something new coming, guys. It's partial county alerting. And the National Weather Service out in Las Vegas has just been testing it with Clark County.
That's amazing.
Yeah, now we're going to, this is going to be written into the AWIP software, a new software upgrade coming next year. Every weather forecast office will be able to get together with their county emergency managers and subdivide counties. So you can set your radio to only go off for, I live in the northwestern corner of the county. I only want to hear warnings for the northwestern corner. And so this is going to really reduce the amount of over alerting considerably.
We've been waiting for this for a long time. We've talked about this a lot, you know.
I know.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I know. See, here's the crazy thing, Kim. The ability to partially to partition our counties, that was written into the SAME code 25 years ago.
Wow.
And we just never, for whatever reason, it was never really utilized. But, you know, thank goodness now the National Weather Service realizes this system is not going away. NOAA Weather Radio cannot go away because it's the foundation of everything else in our alerts.
Yeah.
It's like the concrete foundation of your home. NOAA Weather Radio goes off first, and then EAS, and then the WIA alerts on your phone, and then the phone apps go off. It all starts with NOAA Weather Radio. So it's the absolute concrete foundation of America's alerting system. It'll never go away. It's just, how do we maximize it? How do we make it better? And how do we make it so it serves the user better?
And then how do you promote it? How do you get to, especially the younger generation who they're glued to their telephones or phones or iPhones. And, you know, they think about an extra little device. Nah, they're going to stick with their phones. But what's the plan to get to them, to try to get them to have another device ready? As you said, you should have multiple devices.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, unfortunately, Mother Nature is the great decider on this, because if you've been in a tornado and you've been in a situation where for whatever reason you didn't get something on your cell phone, or the cell phone went off and you didn't hear it, or the cell phone was in another room, or the battery was dead, or you had your phone on do not disturb, and you get a tornado coming near you or it hits your house, then you realize, oh, now I see what they were talking about. So in 2020, the Cookeville, Tennessee tornado outside of Nashville, that came roaring in at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And unfortunately, 2 of the cell phone towers that serve Cookeville were not operating properly.
Ooh.
We had 19 fatalities in Putnam County that night. 19 fatalities. Because a lot of people went to bed and they thought, oh, well, if there's trouble in the middle of the night, I'll hear it on here. This thing will go off, so I'll get it. Well, they didn't. So you need to think of this. And let me give you one other example. How many of you have been to a homecoming football game, a parade, a rock concert, where you're trying to send a picture and it won't go through? You're trying to call someone, you can't get through. There's no bandwidth. So we know that in big events, the bandwidth on these cell phone towers just gets gobbled up. And when that happens, you may not be able to get that text warning from your TV station app, or your mom trying to call you to let you know a tornado's coming. So it's important to have more than one way to get these warnings. And NOAA Weather Radio comes direct from their National Weather Service office right into your home automatically.
So is there a plan to make a smaller version? I'm thinking, if you're going to go to these events, you have to have something small. So right now, I think it's probably 4 inches, maybe might be about the size of the smallest one that's there.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe something smaller. I don't know, that'd be easy to carry around. Might be.
Yeah. I'm reaching down. Well, the thing about cell phone is so convenient. I mean, there's so many things on there. There's, your music, your contacts, you can make phone calls. It's a wake up alarm clock. It's so many things. They're wonderfully convenient devices, and normally they work really well. But if you do get some kind of a big event where the cell phone bandwidth is being used up, you need to understand that your cell phone might not work the way that you expect it to. Now, having said that, the WIA alerts do come off of a cell phone tower, but those are a radio frequency message that's coming into your phone. So we don't have that same situation with those signals getting blocked and clogged up, because that's a radio broadcast that comes off that cell tower. But if the cell tower is blown down, obviously, you're not even going to get a WIA alert off of that tower. But, here's a little tiny weather radio.
Oh, cool.
Pocket size.
Well, I think I have one of those, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I travel with that. I think it's so smart, just like, for soccer or any kind of outdoor sports. Because Kim and I, there were a couple weekends that I was the weather producer for Kim at the Weather Channel, and people are busy on the weekends. They're not paying attention, and having that around, especially for those kind of events are so important. And also I used to program weather radios when I was in local TV. We would do that for all of our counties. But Bruce, my question for you is, thinking about just the power of it. And we know from psychologists now and all the research they've done after the super tornado outbreak of 2011, that people need 2 forms of confirmation to really take shelter, right? They get the alert somewhere, but if you get it for your weather radio, then on your phone, they're more likely to take shelter, right? To take it seriously. So I would love to know, what are some of the success stories that you've heard of where, weather radios have saved someone's life? I'm sure you get tons of those all the time.
Yeah, we do. We get those, and of course we also get the other one, which is, I wish we'd had a weather radio. If we'd had a weather radio, we would have known this was coming. when I was chief meteorologist in Topeka, Kansas, that's kind of a small market. We get a lot of people who are fresh out of college, a lot of young reporters fresh out of college. And I used to tell them, if you ever go out and do a story on a tornado and some guy says the tornado hit without warning, I said, before you put that into your package, before you put that piece of video on the air, come to the Weather Center and we'll call the National Weather Service and we'll find out when the warning was issued and when the tornado hit that guy's barn. Because 9 times out of 10, there was a warning. So now you can go back and re-interview that same guy and say, hey, the warning was out 10 minutes before the tornado took down your barn. What were you doing that you weren't paying attention? And that's an interesting story that we can all learn from, because I've been caught not paying attention before, and I'm a meteorologist with weather radios. And, you know, you get busy doing yard work or something, you know, it's like, okay, I know we're under tornado watch and I see that thunderstorm over there, but I had no idea it was producing a tornado in my county, you know?
Yeah. No, it's like that guy mowing the grass with a tornado in the background that was from Colorado. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Colorado, come on, we know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jennifer, you're right. We get the stories from people who, thank God I had the weather radio. Let me give you another example. I've always given weather radios as wedding presents, and people are always like, "Oh, the weather geek gives me a wedding radio." Of course you do. Give me that.
I love that.
But the interesting thing is, I recall about 3 years after I gave one of my good buddies a weather radio, about 3 years later, he calls me out of the blue. Hey, Bruce. Hey, I just wanted to thank you for that. Remember that you gave us that weather radio? Yeah. I wanted to thank you for that. I'm like, why? Well, I don't know. I guess we didn't tell you. We had a baby recently. She's 6 months old, and I was out of town. My wife and the baby were home alone, and that weather radio went off, and my wife, she took the baby down to the basement. She just wanted me to thank you for giving us the weather radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So,
Yeah.
Bruce, you were talking about some of the things of the future of weather radio, and you mentioned the ability to now, coming up, being able to break down counties, you know, which for some of these states is huge, because some of these counties in some of the bigger states are as big as some of our smaller states on the East Coast, for example.
Yeah.
But what is there any thought, because I know Noaa's working, you know, they've got their hazardous weather test bed, and they've been working on the warning system that's kind of a probability cone, very similar if you think of the hurricane cone and probability kind of a deal. So I know they've been working on that. I'm sure you've had to think about how that's going to relate to weather radios, or how that may affect the use of weather radios. What are your thoughts on that? And Dan Wallace reminded me of Facets, the Facets program. So what can you tell us about that and how that might affect it?
Well, I'll throw this out there, and then I'll ask for your feedback, because I've been involved in some of those discussions with Facets. Cody Berry has been nice enough to invite me down to a couple of those things and be online with them. So Facets is this thing where, like you said, that the polygon will actually move forward, and you'll be given percentage chances that the tornado is going to hit your location. And here's what I threw out to them, and I'll throw this out to you too, that maybe that whole thing of probability of strike and so forth might be better communicated on television, where you've got a screen, and maybe not so much on radio. So I'll just throw that out there, that maybe Noaa Weather Radio should stick to doing things radio broadcast wise, that when you get into graphics that are showing the percentage chance that something will come your way, that maybe that's better communicated on television, because to do it on Noaa Weather Radio, we may need to completely redo the whole weather radio system. So what
And
do you guys
that's
think?
probably not in the books, is it? I would have to think the cost of doing that far outweighs what anybody would ever approve.
Yeah.
I would think.
I will show you something interesting. This is House of Representatives Bill 5324, and it's titled the Noaa Weather Radio Modernization Act of 2021. It's
Wow.
sponsored by a Republican from Oklahoma, Stephanie Bice, and a Democrat from New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And both of these ladies understand the importance of severe weather warning in the United States of America. And what this bill would do, it's not an increase in taxes. It's just telling the administrator of Noaa, you need to be spending more money on Noaa Weather Radio. $20 million to maintain and repair things that we have now, including a transmitter goes off the air. Let's get a tower climbing crew up there within 24 hours instead of having to wait 2 or 3 weeks. So there's 20 million for that. And then there's another 40 million. And again, this is them telling Noaa, take this from your current budget, move it into Noaa Weather Radio. Another 40 million for modernization, which would include this. Right now, the broadcast that comes out of a Noaa Weather Radio tower, it comes from the forecast office out to the tower via a copper telephone line. One guy with a backhoe snips that line, that transmitter goes off the air until they can fix that copper wire. What this Modernization Act would do is allow for redundant communications with that transmitter. So now the Weather Forecast Office could transmit the information out to that tower via microwave or via internet protocol or via satellite dish. And the great thing about satellite dish is this. Every Weather Forecast Office runs anywhere from 8 to 14 transmitters in the area around it. So think of all these towers. What happens if a tornado hits this Weather Forecast Office in St. Louis, Missouri? 14 transmitters go off the air, and there's no way to get them back because the Weather Forecast Office got damaged. If you have satellite dishes at every one of these 1,033 transmitters, when the transmitter in the U.S. Virgin Islands gets knocked off the air, it could be taken over by Seattle, Washington. So we would have a redundant way to get data back onto that transmitter and keep it broadcasting, even when the local forecast office is having troubles with power outage, direct hit by a tornado, ice storm, whatever. So, and the House Science Committee unanimously passed this. So it looks like it's going to get through the House. But if you would please contact your congressman, go to congress.gov. And there's a little box that you can click on that says contact my member. Throw in your own punchline. So you go to congress.gov, contact my member, and then you can just send an email to your representatives and tell them, hey, please support 5324. Won't raise our taxes. It's money Noaa already has. It's telling Noaa, you need to take some of your budget and put more of it into Noaa Weather Radio.
It's bipartisan.
It is.
Can't argue with that.
There you go.
That's,
No,
that's
you
good
can't.
stuff. You know, you're talking all the satellites and microwaves, and MJ's going nuts. He's going crazy, geeking out back there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can tell. So, but hey, I'll tell you what, everybody, the giving season is upon us, and at helicity.co/SFF for Stormfront Freaks, they've got a huge selection of weather and hurricane themed T-shirts and merchandise, including our Stormfront Freaks shirts, our beverage containers, which I've got one right here, by the way.
Nice.
What are you drinking? There we go. Nice beer
Looking
stein.
good.
As well as stickers for that weather someone that you've got. Or if you're like me, it's to put on your own list, right? You got some cool stuff you want to put on your Christmas list. So go to the exclusive site, helicity.co/SFF, and earn 5% off your entire order while you're there. You can also click on the brands tab to find all your Stormfront Freaks favorites. Again, at helicity.co/SFF. So, hey, it's time. I think it's time for a break. We're going to be right back here with more from Bruce and some great Midland gift ideas. So stay tuned. Very cool. Hey, so quick question here, Bruce, from one of our patron members, Curtis, who is up in our sister, northernly sister state. How do weather radios work in Canada? And do you know where Canada is with their whole system?
Yeah, you want me to answer it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They have the same system, the same radio frequencies. In fact, the radios that we produce are usually trilingual in the display because they use them up in Canada. They have about 260 transmitters, most of them down in the southern areas where most of the people live. But the interesting thing about Canada is they already have redundant communications with their transmitters, so they're one step ahead of us there.
Oh my gosh.
The other thing is, in Canada, they do the message in English first, and then they follow in French. In Quebec, they do it just the opposite. In Quebec, the tornado warning comes out in French, and then comes out same thing in English. But when you get up into the northern territories, up in Nunavut, they have numerous different native dialects, and their computers actually can speak in different native dialects up there.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the transmitters that are way, way far north have the different local dialects in them. It's pretty cool.
What are we
Great
doing,
question,
USA? Come on, man. We're getting our butts kicked by Canada.
I know.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
I was going to say Mexico uses the weather radio frequencies for their earthquake warning system.
Oh,
And
Nice.
people will buy our weather radios and use them down there. They'll plug them in, then they can get their earthquake warnings, which is basically, I think when the P wave arrives, the P wave is the first wave that's kind of like a little one, and then there's like maybe a 30-second window till the big wave, the big shake comes. And so if they can get an alert to people, it gives people 20, 30 seconds to dive underneath the table or something and save themselves.
Wow.
is that the same thing here, Bruce? Like the weather radio is Earth. Like what? And maybe I should wait for the podcast.
Go ahead, because the second part we're going to hit more of the Midland stuff, Midland products and everything. So go ahead if you got another question.
Yeah.
That's
So what's all the weather like events that the weather radio can give you a warning for?
Oh, I normally carry a list
Oh
of them
gosh,
with me
Well,
somewhere.
not all
believe
of
it or
them.
not.
Not
that's
like
a
all
big
of them, but, like,
question because there's a ton.
It's
Oh
a
yeah,
ton.
here it is. I got it.
It's a book.
What's the like?
So there's that. There's all of those, and there's a second
Wow.
page and that one. Everything from food contamination warning to nuclear power
Oh my
plant
God.
emergency. Yeah, and the emergency action notification. Emergency action notification is nuclear attack.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You don't
God
want
forbid
that
it
one.
goes off.
Yeah. So that doesn't
That
happen.
would be one you
Kiss
don't
your
want to
ass
get.
goodbye.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to
Yeah.
say.
I think I'm one of the
Curtis
few
had a
that
message for you,
happens.
Bruce. He said thanks. So.
Oh,
That's a
okay,
great
yeah.
question.
Yeah. No, they use it's called Weather Radio Canada up there, and Weather Radio is spelled as one word with one single R in the middle of it. Weather Radio Canada, and they do a really good job with it. In fact, their artificial voices, their computerized voices, I think sound even better than ours, and ours are pretty good, but I think theirs
wow.
sound even better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We
Hey,
shall take a quick-
Kim, can you point your mic towards your mouth and not point it down? Is that an option?
Towards. Okay.
I don't think she's using it. I think you need to go
You
and
don't think
select
I'm
it,
on
actually.
this?
Yeah,
Mic?
there you go. It's a directional mic that you can't talk from the side.
Oh,
You got-
okay. So
yeah.
that's better.
Yeah, a lot
Oh,
better.
but I'm going to have to turn this way.
That's all right. When you talk, you can just turn into the
Yeah.
mic when you talk,
Okay,
and then
I
that's
will.
good.
We'll do.
That's
Okay.
kind of what I do.
Okay.
I should do this, then it'd be a little.
Then we can't see you.
Okay, Angela and Dan, what do you guys have? Any questions for Bruce while we're on break before we get back?
No, thank you. But thank you for
Okay.
doing this.
I've got a quick one.
Oh. Yep.
So I know that on some cell phones, they've got an FM radio chipset built in. Do you envision a time where there might be a VHF chipset that could receive the signal
Inside a cell phone?
inside a cell phone?
Yeah, the biggest holdback to that is you remember in your college days when you had an FM receiver and you put that little antenna wire up on the wall there and you put it up with some thumbtacks. It was that big long wire. The only issue with a cell phone is they're not truly large enough to accommodate a complete FM antenna. So that's been kind of the drawback to putting FM into our telephones. But I think in Europe, they've got those frequencies in their phones. They don't seem to have an issue with it. But here in the United States, for whatever reason, the cell phone manufacturers, or maybe the FCC, hasn't been real gung-ho on putting FM in there yet. That's what I've heard.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, that would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So Kim, can you point that
I
towards you or
can't.
not? Okay.
I can't.
It's
Okay,
too
that's
heavy.
that better?
It drops down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
drops.
sound a lot better when you're talking into
Is
the
that
mic and
better?
it's not pointed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
Sorry
the
about that.
bar adjust up higher? Can you push it up higher?
Let me
The
see.
whole thing there,
Like
like
that?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if it droops down, it might still catch you just talking normal.
Yeah, the one part, I don't know, the screw things broke on it. It won't stay up and when I have it down facing up. So I'll have to go up facing down. Okay, that's
There you
better.
go. That it
Okay.
does. That is better
All right,
actually.
good.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Good deal. Probably looks weird though.
No.
All right.
Remember, we're mostly an audio podcast, so
That's true. Okay.
Right.
they're not going to be watching. All right. So here's what we'll do. We will
They're
we'll
always
come
watching, Phil.
we'll come back from break.
They're always watching.
And Bruce, what I'll do is I'll start I'm going to share my screen, MJ.
Okay.
Don't show these tips again. I'm just going to do that. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of go through some of the Bruce, some of the products that we talked about: the ER50 emergency weather radio, crank radio, the X Talker two-way radios, the WR400 weather alert radio.
Got one.
We'll get into the micro mobile unit that I think chasers are going to really like that option, especially for vehicles. And then I'll kind of ask you like what else you got, and the point is just kind of focus on what people might be interested in for the holidays, whether giving or getting. And then I'll also talk about the promo code, which is really cool that you were kind enough to provide us, which will be fun. Okay.
Sure.
So we'll do that, and you guys can ask questions about these products if you want as we go through them. But we'll go maybe till about, I don't know, till we get through the products, however that takes. And then Bruce, we're going to do a game show somewhere around the top of the hour. We'll do a game show to finish up our second segment. Is that good?
Okay. Oh, it's fantastic.
You'll like this. You and Kim are going to like the game show. I'll just say that.
Ooh.
Why is that?
You'll find out.
music.
You'll find out.
Okay. All right.
All right. So here we go. We are coming in 3, 2. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to our holiday special. We've got Bruce Cyclo Jones back with us. It's so good to have a chance to chat with Bruce again. But this is our holiday special, so we always release this right around Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving, as all of our weather freaks start thinking of and looking for great holiday gifts to give, or maybe to put on their list that they would be interested in as well. And Bruce Midland's been a great supporter of the Stormfront Freaks podcast, but a great supporter of people that have weather needs and communication needs, whether that's our storm chasers, our Skywarn spotters, all that kind of stuff. Midland's been great for that. So I want to hit some of the different products that Bruce, you and I have talked about leading into today that we thought would be good for our weather freaks or storm chasers. The first one, which is really kind of a prep, emergency prep, and I just think everybody should have one of these. I've got one very similar to this from Midland as well. It's the ER50 E Plus Ready Emergency Weather Alert Crank Radio. So this is somewhat of a newer version of your product. Bruce, what can you tell us about this, and who might want something like this?
Well, you're right. It is. We previously had a bigger version of that, kind of this square one. And then we came up with this smaller one. And this smaller one was really designed to easily fit in your pocket, easily fit in your Go kit. And we put a hand crank on it. So it has a rechargeable battery in it. AM, FM, weather alert, and a super bright flashlight, an LED flashlight, and the ability to crank and generate your own electricity. And the reason why you might want to do that is there's actually a USB port on here, and you would be able to recharge your smartphone in the event of, let's say, a hurricane or an ice storm where you lose power for several days. So these are really nice. They make a great gift, you know. Again, it's the size that you could put in your glove box in your car. You could carry one of these in your golf bag, in your fishing tackle box.
Bruce,
really
I have to
nice.
say it's my favorite. This is my favorite weather radio. I have like 3 different Midland radios, and I have this, like, I take it with me hiking wherever I go. It's always in my backpack because it's so convenient. And it, like, for my daughter and everything, like, yeah, it's in my car, wherever I go, it goes with me. So I love that one.
And Jen, I love the combo too, right? Because, you know, I think the fact that not only can you get radio, but you also use it as a flashlight. You know, I don't have that specific Midland weather radio. I have another one. But it's cool because it's like an all-purpose, you know, thing you can take. You know, I just have it around my house that I've multiple times when the power has gone out. I've used it as a flashlight. I've used it to charge my phone. I've used it, you know, my phone was out of battery. I was like, all right, I'll just put on the radio, which I don't usually do, but I loved it, right? And that's what I love is even if you're not into radio, you can still use it almost as, you know, an external battery source, as well as a backup if anything ever were to happen where you don't have power, right? And that's what I love about it too. That's just kind of a bonus on top of everything.
And you know, if you fish out on the Great Lakes or on the Gulf, this is a SOS light on there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a great thing to have in your boat, you know? You know,
Yeah, really cool. I do like the fact too that it, you know, it charges your cell phone and you can crank the battery right with the crank. So like you're never going to run out of battery power on your cell phone or on the radio as long as
Not
you
with
can
those guns, Phil.
continue
Not
to
with those
crank,
guns.
right? Yeah. All right, so that's and it retails $49.99. Again, great gift, stocking stuffer, that kind of thing. Outstanding. So the next thing, obviously, is just Bruce, the Midland radios, the FRS two-way radios that you guys have that are great. You know, what I like about this is the X-Talker Extreme Dual Pack. And it includes your FRS two-way radios that I believe also have a weather radio within it. Yep. But it's also great for communication, whether you use it at home and you've got a couple two-way radios. So if you need to be apart from a spouse or something like that. But I think also for those of our storm chasers, it's a great unit for those that are chasing with other teams as a team, and a great way to communicate. But Bruce, what else can you tell us about this neat little pack?
Well, these are real popular with the agriculture community and real popular with folks who maybe go elk hunting up in Colorado where you don't have a lot of cell phone coverage and you get up there because, again, there is a Noaa weather radio button on there. It comes in a pack like this. Yeah, you can see the pictures there. And it has a desk charger thing. But the great thing about this pack is if you don't want to use the desk charger, it also charges via that USB cord, and you could plug it into your car cigarette lighter, that one right there.
Ooh.
So you don't have to use the charging port. You don't have to drop those in that charging port. When you travel in your car, you just plug it into the cigarette lighter and you can charge through that USB. So that's the great thing about this kit right here. And let me tell you something interesting. I work with Los Angeles County Fire Department. In every neighborhood of Los Angeles County, from Beverly Hills to Compton and Watts, they have local community emergency response teams. And they train them to use walkie-talkie radios because Los Angeles County is very, very upfront about this. They're telling people when the big earthquake hits, the cell phone system is going to be gone. It'll either be too damaged or it'll be overloaded. Do not rely on the cell phone system. And they have neighborhood groups that have a call out once a week on their walkie-talkies, and they call down to their local LA County fire station and talk to the firefighters and just maintain that communication. So in the event of a big earthquake, these neighborhoods already have their own communications network, and they're doing it with little walkie-talkies just like these.
Wow. That's amazing.
That
Bruce,
really
that they're
is.
so prepared. I love
Yeah.
that.
LA County, that's a cool bunch of people down there. I've worked with them, and they've got their act together, and they're getting other people to do so. And it was interesting meeting one of the ladies from Beverly Hills who's got her little walkie-talkie radios
Wow.
and knows how to use them.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people don't want to get a ham radio license, right? Nope.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. This is average citizens. They learn to push to talk, let go to listen. They have designated channels for each section of Los Angeles. And people know that if there's an earthquake, we talk on channel 6. And if we want to call the fire station, we go to channel 10 or whatever the numbers happen to be. It's cool.
I love that they're practicing it like once a week too. They're getting that practice in. I don't have that set yet. That's on my Christmas list this year.
It is.
Yes. Oh my
We're going
god.
quicker Santa, Jen. So
Bruce, are
I
these
get ya.
these look like talk-free head microphones and earpieces or something?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, they got those cool little MacGyver headsets with the microphone and the earpiece.
I love
It's a cool set. I mean, it's $99.99, but these last for a long time, and they come in a carrying case, and you'll get a lot of use out of them.
So how far away can you be? I mean, how, the distance between the two?
If it's mountaintop to mountaintop, it's quite a few miles, but really in the city where you got trees and buildings and so forth, it's just going to be in your, within your neighborhoods, a couple of neighborhoods, maybe. Anytime you get stuff that bothers that line of sight signal travel, it's going to be an issue. And that's why we have these micro mobiles that we're going to talk about next.
Okay. Good
All right.
segue.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll jump to that next. Then, Bruce, you set it up nicely. So, this is the MXT 275 micro mobile two-way radio. Which I think, if you are a storm chaser, this is beautiful. This is a really neat unit. Everything in this radio, so it's a GMRS two-way radio. Everything is integrated into that handset. But to me, like, to get a picture of this, just think kind of like a CB radio, right? It's got a unit you can mount in your car, and then the handset is on a coiled cord, and it's got everything you need to control on the handset. It's got an extra antenna that will allow you to transport a little further. I think this is a great unit for talking vehicle to vehicle. But Bruce, what more can you tell us on the micro mobile?
Yeah, I wanted to point out that when you buy the little walkie-talkies, they're limited in power. The 2 watts or maximum 5 watts on the GMRS channel. So you're limited in power when you have the handheld walkie-talkies. But what these items do, this is a 15-watt transmitter. So this is 3 times as powerful as the little handhelds. And it comes with a mag mount antenna, so you can put it on top of your vehicle. So now when you're in your vehicle and you key this microphone on these GMRS frequencies, you've got a signal that travels much, much farther. And now if you got some buddies in another car and you're chasing kind of as a team, so to speak, you can talk back and forth from car to car. Again, emergency managers use these because if they have one of these in the emergency management vehicle or in a fire truck, when they key the mic, a lot of people in the county who own walkie-talkies will hear this broadcast because it's higher wattage and it's coming off of a mag mount antenna that's up on top of the vehicle.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
And the other thing I like about this, Bruce, is it also has the Noaa weather scan and alert technology integrated into it as well.
Yeah, almost all of our products, and honestly, I'll say the same thing for Cobra, for Uniden, and Motorola. I mean, we're all big supporters of Noaa weather radio, so we try to put these weather radio buttons on as many of our products as we can, just to make this information available to people. It's better to have weather radio on there and not need it than to be in the opposite situation.
Yeah, I think every car needs to have this, mainly so I can yell at people when they cut me off and just scream at their mind.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And also get weather information too. That would also be great.
It is cool because the display is on the microphone there.
Oh, cool.
That's
Kinda
awesome.
cool.
That's awesome.
So it's a very low profile thing. I mean, you can easily hide it in your vehicle. Nobody
Yeah.
will ever know that's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when they do these Jeep Jamboree things, I think Jeep requires all of the Jeeps and the Jamborees to have a GMRS radio in them now. It's kind of supplanted CB radio as the de facto device for communicating amongst vehicles, because GMRS signals travel farther and they're clear. They're not as static filled as the old CBs are.
That's so interesting. I love
All
that.
right, next let's hit the good old. This is the WR400, but it's the Deluxe Noaa weather radio. I've got your good old standard. What's the code on your standard weather radio?
The white
Bruce?
one, the white one is the WR 120.
The 120. I've got that bad boy, and it works like a charm. But this is the Deluxe Noaa weather radio, WR400. Tell me what makes this a deluxe over the standard.
We put some frosting and a cherry on top of it. The one that you talked about is just weather radio. This is AM and FM and weather radio. So if you want to buy your grandma or your grandfather a really cool Christmas present, or even your mom or dad, this is a nice one, because you can be listening to the baseball game on AM radio, and if there's a weather alert, it'll override that and come on. So it's a Noaa weather radio, but it also has AM and FM. And then we've added a USB port on the side, so you can have this on your bedside table and you plug in your phone at night and charge your phone.
That's nice.
Wow, that's cool.
Nice big clock on there. But again, it's AM, FM, Noaa weather radio. It's SAME, so you can set it to just go off for your county. You can even tell it, I don't want to hear Amber Alerts. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. There's certain alerts that you can silence. And then it has the USB port on the side. So
it'll let me silence the volcano warning.
Yeah.
That I won't have here in Cincinnati.
Those are pretty great. I don't know if leave those on.
One common question we get is when people go in and they access that menu that allows them to silence things like Amber Alert, they'll go in there to go, wait, tornado warning's not in there. Hurricane warning's not in there. Volcano warning's not in there. Because by public alert certification, and there's a little public alert logo on here somewhere. There it is, right? All right. Let me find it. There. Public alert certification. By public alert certification, you are not allowed to turn off the really major ones. They don't even show up in the menu. You're not allowed to silence tornado warning or hurricane warning. Those are locked in. You're supposed to get those. There's no way to turn them off.
Good. All right.
So I like that.
That volcano goes off in Cincinnati, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be all right. I can't mess it up. I can't mess it up.
Yeah, you're probably messed up if you hear that.
That's true. Yeah. So that goes for retail $69.99 for that, which still, even for the Deluxe radio, is very affordable. We didn't cover that micro mobile. That particular two-way radio was retail $164.99. Yep. Bruce, what did we miss? I mean, Midland's got a ton of stuff. I mean, we just kind of highlighted a few products in kind of each of your lines, your two-way radios, your micro mobiles, your emergency prep, your weather radios. You got lines in all these things, but what did we miss, and or what's coming up?
I think you've hit the major ones. We talked about some portable radios, this ER50 that you can take with you, take out on your boat. And then we had the bigger radio that has the AM and the FM and the Noaa weather radio in there, the WR400. And then we talked about this great set of walkie-talkies here, the X-Talker two-way radios. That's the T77 pack. And then we talked about the MXT 215. I mean, that's nice. That's 15 watts of powerful communication right there. I think we should give people some kind of a deal on these things. I know that we'll give you a deal on the weather radios. You'll have to try out the promo code and see if it works on the micro mobiles, but I know it works on all of our weather radio products. So why don't you tell them what the deal is?
Cool. So that's a test. Yeah. So I want everybody to know, I think this is great. And Bruce, thank you. As you said, you've never offered this high of a % discount on these products before, but it's a 25% discount, folks. If
Wow.
you go to Midland, let's get this right, Bruce, midlandusa.com.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And it's certainly on all the emergency prep radios, weather radios. But as Bruce said, heck, you check to see if it might work on the micro mobile or any of the two ways. But this code, so if you want, this is the code you want to use, which is why you're going to go ahead and want to get one for all of your relatives for Christmas. The promo code you want to enter is SFF for Stormfront Freaks, SFF25 for the 25% off. So again, that's SFF25. That's the code you want to enter, and you're going to get 25% off those radios. So definitely check that out. Make sure you're putting that on your Christmas list to get everybody. And certainly if you have your own Christmas list you're putting together for your friends and family, while you list that Midland radio, go ahead and throw in that code right next to it so they know they can get a deal on that as well. So, and I also want to share this. So Bruce was also kind enough to share a couple of these products that he sent us as well. So we're going to do a drawing with some of our Patreon members to give some of these products away. But I also encourage you, follow us on Twitter. Again, we're at Stormfront Freak, no S at the end. So follow us on Twitter, because keep an eye out. We're also going to do some social media promotions along with Midland and these products to give some of these away that we just talked about with Bruce tonight. So keep an eye out for that as well, all part of our holiday gift-giving frenzy that we like to get into every year. And Bruce and Midland certainly were great partners in that. So Bruce, thanks for that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys do such a great job on this podcast, and it's fun to come on because it's just kind of lighthearted and enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable
well. Hey, we're not done yet.
Oh,
so
just wait.
we're
Hang in there.
Got trouble coming up.
We're not done. So that's the sound. It is time for our lightning round, Bruce. So this is our game show of fun, brilliant, and what do I always say? Flashy,
Flashy.
and brilliant questions
That
that we always play
That's
with
right.
our guests.
Yeah, drink up first.
So tonight we're gonna play a game. We're gonna call this "If It's the Same to You." If it's the same to you. So I'm gonna test how well you guys know your same codes, your same county codes.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. We're not actually going to do that. We're going to do. We're going to do. I don't have a title for this game, but it has to do with the Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
So I knew Bruce and Kim, you guys are going to be all about this.
Okay.
And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 4 statements that have to do with the tornado scene from the Wizard of Oz. There's going to be 4 statements. One of these statements is true. The other 3 are false. And I want you to try to figure out which of these 4 statements is true. And I'm just going to go down. I'm actually going to start with the freaks. I'm going to ask each one of you, once I go through these 4, which one you think is false, or which one, you think is true. And maybe tell me why you think it's true, whatever. And I'll just kind of go down the row. You guys can each make your own decision, and I'll finish with Bruce. Bruce, I'll finish with you, and you can kind of tell me what you think. So here are the 4 statements. Everybody can play along with this. Number 1, the first attempt at a tornado, they used a 35-foot tall pine tree spinning upside down. That was their first attempt. That's not what they used, but that was their first attempt to see if that would work. All right. Here's the second statement. The final tornado was made with a roll of carpet. Okay. The third statement, the final storm and tornado image was superimposed over the film of Judy Garland in the fan-powered wind. All right. The fourth statement, the tornado scene was the most costly of all the special effects in the film. All right. So of those 4 statements, one of those is true. And MJ, I'm going to start with you. Which one do you think is true?
I don't know. I don't think they were doing the superimposed thing yet. Let's go with the pine tree. That sounds interesting.
A pine tree.
So the first attempt at a tornado
attempt didn't work.
They used a 35-foot tall pine tree spinning upside down.
It didn't work
in the distance. Okay. All right. So that's your statement. Brady.
I'm going to go with it being the most expensive.
Okay. Tornado scene was the most costly of all. Yeah. Now
Remember
is all the
Emerald
special
City?
effects.
I've never seen the movie. So
Remember
I've
the
just
Emerald City? Come on.
Oh my
God.
seen the movie.
Brady.
Brady.
I know.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
what I'm doing.
All right. Jen, what do you think? Which of those four do you think is the true statement?
I'm going with Brady. I think it was the most costliest. Yeah.
Okay.
Well done.
Go with the man who's never watched it. That's smart. That's smart.
Smart
Hey.
move, yeah.
Bold. All right, Kim, I know you are the lover of the Wizard of Oz and that tornado scene.
Yes, and I think it is the most costliest, but I'm going to say that because when you said it was a carpet, I know it was burlap that was used with a crane and spun around. So I don't know if that is the same as carpet or not. So I'm not sure if that's a true statement or not, if you would consider that carpet. But
I just gave you the statement. You got to
Kim,
tell me.
join the winning side. Come on.
okay.
Kim wins because she knows that.
Yeah.
I know. I agree. Okay, so yeah, I'll just go with D or whatever it was. But
The tornado scene was the most costly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Wow. Bruce, three people are saying that. Obviously, you can say what you want, but which do you think is the true statement of those four?
Well, first of all, let me preface this by saying at the time they made that movie in 1939, no one had ever filmed a tornado before. So they were just going by written descriptions of what the tornado looked like. And I think they did a really good job on it. You know, you can criticize a few little things here and there, but there even seems to be like a clear slot on the left side of it. I mean, I've always been very impressed with that. And I think the answer is, as Kim said, it was the most expensive thing that they did in that movie.
Most costly of all the special effects in the film. All right, so number one was the first attempt at a tornado. They used a 35-foot tall pine tree spinning upside down. MJ thought that was the true statement. That is the Kim Cunningham Christmas tree statement. That is that.
That's right.
So that is false. Their first attempt was using a rubber 35-foot tall rubber cone,
Wow.
but they found it wasn't
that's
flexible
close.
enough. It wasn't giving the flexibility they were looking for, apparently. So that was false. All right, the next one, the final tornado was made with a roll of carpet. That is false as well. It was basically a form of cheesecloth, kind of like Kim said, kind of burlap. It was kind of a porous kind of cheesecloth material
Cheesecloth?
that they ended up using. Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
not made
that
of cheese.
So the dust could come through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right,
They
right,
actually,
right.
so as Kim talked about, they had this whole unit that they built on the top to it's kind of like almost like a crane, those big cranes on top of a big warehouse, and they move stuff. It was a unit kind of like that moved the tornado, but then it was flexible enough because they got the idea off of an airport windsock.
Wow.
Right, to give that kind of movement, and then they just made it a cone with the bottom at the bottom, and then as Bruce said, they filled it with dust and stuff like that from the top and bottom, so it actually came out of all parts of the tornado, but especially the top and bottom, so it gave it that very realistic look. All right, the third thing, the final storm.
Wait. Let me add one more thing of that.
Yeah.
There was also on the bottom, there was the flooring, and then underneath it, there were actually people underneath it where they were also controlling the bottom part of the tornado. So it wasn't just the crane at the top. There was somebody underneath the flooring that was controlling the bottom part and moving that part. So anyway.
Wow.
It's like 7 people that they needed to make Jabba the Hutt move in Return of the Jedi.
There you go.
No? Okay. Maybe not like that. All right. The third statement was final storm and tornado image was superimposed. So they filmed the tornado part, and then they superimposed that over the film of Judy Garland, where she was just kind of running around in a fan, and they were blowing leaves at her and stuff like that. That is false. That was rear projection. So they basically filmed the whole tornado, then set up a screen and rear projected that, and then Judy Garland was in front of the rear projection.
Oh.
So that's how they did that part. So the last one, of course, the tornado scene was the most costly special effect in the film. And all of you that said that, you were correct. So congratulations, Bruce. You got it as well.
Good
so
for
good
all
job.
of
Here we go.
Brady, who never saw it, knew enough despite all the special effects in that film.
You know,
That's
everyone's always
hard to
been
believe, in a
counting
way.
me down, and I've always been somehow
I'm ashamed
rising
of
up,
you.
you know?
Are you from Ohio? What the
I am.
heck?
Ohio against the world, baby. Till we die. Come on.
All right. Well, hey, great job, Bruce. Appreciate you playing along. Tell our listeners how they can find you on social media, and then maybe again, just quick where they can get these Midland products.
Well, you know, our Midland website is midlandusa.com, and we have some various videos, and I've done some blogs and so forth on there about severe weather, this and that. And we also have real good customer support. So if you ever have any problems, you know, you can always contact us. On Twitter, I'm at Cyclone Jones 1. I don't send out a whole lot of stuff. I enjoy watching everybody else's things, but I kind of stick to just talking about the weather, especially severe weather. So, you know, Cyclone Jones 1 is me on Twitter, and I'm not on Facebook, but I do a lot of stuff for Midland. I travel a lot. So if I'm ever in your neighborhood, by all means, give me a shout out.
Very good. Well, hey, it's time for our final break, but certainly there's more to come, including Weather Fools and Weather Trollbot, and find out who's coming up on our next episode. So stay tuned.
That was a great question, by the way.
It
Bill.
was.
Yeah,
That
I
was
like
a really
that.
good question. I
What
like that.
question was that?
The Wizard of
tornado.
Oz.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
love that movie. So, you know, the Lollipop Guild, the little lollipop guys, we used to have in Wamego, Kansas, which is out in between Topeka and Salina. They have a Wizard of Oz museum there, and they used to have an Oz Fest, and several of the Munchkins would come each year. So
Aw.
Jerry Moran, the little lollipop guy, he was also the Oscar Mayer Wiener guy. I mean, he was in a lot of TV commercials, but I met him, and I actually got down on my knees, and he and I together sang the "We Represent Lollipop Guild."
I want to see that.
Honestly, that was there video of that.
Yeah, somebody took it. I don't know what happened to it, but anyway,
That's amazing.
Bruce.
those were very nice people. You know, one of them told me something very interesting. They said, you know, munchkins are midgets are an endangered species, because now if you're growing small, they give you human growth hormones, and you just pop right up. But in that day and age, if you grew small like that, that's not dwarfism; it's different. If you grew small like that, there was nothing they could do. But nowadays, if a child is showing signs of not growing properly, they just give them human growth hormone, and they go right back to normal.
Wow.
But we just don't see people that short anymore,
You don't. You really don't.
unless it's dwarfism.
Hey, Bruce, can you do us a favor? I don't think we've ever gotten a plug from you. So we just want to get a quick little audio plug. If you could just say, hi, this is Bruce Jones of Midland Radio, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Sure. You ready?
Ready?
In 3, 2. Hi, this is Bruce Jones from Midland Weather Radio, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Beautiful. Good job.
Boom.
Man,
Haven't
Well
lost
done.
it. Haven't
A
lost it.
pro. One take.
One take pro. Well, Bruce, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time. We
Thank
maybe
you.
went a little bit long tonight with you, but outstanding. It was so good to see you. It really was. It's been a while. So thanks for coming on and giving us your time and expertise. And
You bet. Are
Thanks
any
for
of
the
you?
discount too, baby. I'm ordering
Oh,
by the
yeah.
radio.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Give them
Thanks,
as
Bruce.
gifts. They're good to
Yeah.
give as gifts. Any of you going to
Fantastic.
AMS broadcasters or AMS in Houston or any of those meetings?
I would love to, but I can't make it,
Not
unfortunately.
okay. All right.
are you heading out there?
Yeah,
Are you going there?
broadcasters in June. The AMS national meetings here in January down in Houston. So
There's a Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Oklahoma
It's a
in
Midwest
January.
city.
Yep, it's got the
Oh, really?
National Storm Chasers Summit
Oh, really?
in January. Yeah.
It's
Are you guys
21st and
gonna be there?
22nd.
Yeah, I'm still planning on probably heading out there. I know I was talking to Dan about that. I don't know if MJ
I'll be
maybe
there.
is that still a
Maybe.
possibility? Oh, Angela's coming. Cool.
Yep.
I'll send you guys some radios and you can do some door prizes at your booth.
Yeah, sure.
Are you
We'd
gonna
love
do
to do
that?
that for
That'd
you.
be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we'd love to help you guys promote.
Okay.
That's for sure.
All right, I'll do that.
I'll send you an email with the dates and all that stuff, and yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Are you going to have like a table, or are you just
Yep.
attending?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yep.
Okay,
No,
you got
we'll have a table. Yeah, we'll have a table set up, and they're actually setting up specifically some space to podcast, so we can hook up with some of the speakers that are going to be there. I know Reed Timmer is going to be there. Hurricane
Morganman.
Man.
Josh Morgan.
Josh Morgan.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
Josh,
Yep,
yeah.
he's going to be
Yeah.
there.
Tim Marshall.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tim's always
I love
there.
Tim.
Yeah, so there'll be a bunch of guys and gals there, so it should be good.
All right, we'll send you something. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Bruce.
All right.
Yeah,
you bet.
thanks for the time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
we're
Bruce.
gonna finish
Thank
up
you.
one more segment. You're welcome to stay, but I know we're getting late already, so it's up to you.
That's all right. I think I've got the homework duty upstairs.
That's fair. I get
I'll
it.
go help out on
Have
the
a great
homework.
thing.
I get
Have a
it.
great Thanksgiving.
All right.
All right,
Yep.
you
Happy
too.
Thanksgiving, Bruce. We'll
All
see you
right,
later.
Bruce.
I'll be in
See you
touch.
guys. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. So we got Brady. You're doing Weather Fools,
Mhm.
and I've got one.
I got two.
You got two. Okay, I've got
Ew,
one.
I have
I'm
one.
excited to see MJ.
Oh, Kim's got
They're
one.
from
Oh,
they're
man.
from
I've got
listeners.
one.
I do the listener ones. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Cool.
All right, and this will be episode 145. Show notes 145. I've got a Christmas song for you to come into instead this time.
Ooh. Okay.
I
Okay.
remember how
Yeah,
to do this, how to share.
We're getting...
You're gonna kill it,
Oh,
Kim.
yeah.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
kill
kill
it.
Kim, do you have a weather fool?
I do.
Share
Oh,
it.
okay.
Share
You
now.
know how
share?
to do this.
Not yet.
So
Share
go ahead
it
and
now?
share your screen now. Yep.
Okay,
Just
all
that way
right.
MJ can pull it up when we start talking
Okay.
about
You
it.
sure we should do it
All
live?
right.
Why don't we say?
No,
it?
we're not doing it live.
Well, we are live video wise.
We
There you
are,
go.
yeah.
There you go. That's good.
Okay,
There
so
you go.
share.
Look at Jen
Curtis
tipping
gets-
that back.
Curtis gets to watch.
Oh, you know what? I'm getting some more wine.
Oh my god, I do need a drink though, Phil. I do need a drink. That's gonna happen sometime soon.
I thought you said next time you were coming on, you were
You
having
did say
one.
next time, yeah.
That's
Oh, is
true,
that the
but-
one you skipped out on us on?
Yes. Oh my
Okay,
god.
last
no,
week.
Last
MJ.
week was I can't
Not
really
there
talk
yet,
about what
Kim.
the situation, but anyway.
I know.
What do I have to do after I click on the
Yes,
link?
but no, I'm speaking tomorrow, Phil.
Click
Otherwise,
on
like
share.
Okay.
Okay, then I opened
And-
up.
if I come out to Oklahoma for the storm chasing event,
then do,
it's on, Phil. It's on.
Share screen.
Okay.
When you come out,
I'll
not
hold
if.
you to that.
When
Yeah,
you come
no,
out.
seriously, I will.
And then you can pick the thing you want to share after you
Oh,
pick
okay,
screen.
all
You
right.
can pick tab or
Yes.
window. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
This
You
is
see
what
it?
this is what I see. Yep. So
Okay.
So yeah, when you start talking about it, just go ahead and click on that tab.
you can
And
navigate
Okay,
to the
got
tab.
it.
We'll
you
see.
want. Yep.
We'll see whatever tab you are looking at.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep,
Okay,
you won't
that's
see
how
us
that works.
anymore, but you'll see what you're showing and talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
You got everybody else that needs to share?
I got myself and Brady and Kim and Phil.
All right.
Is that who I need?
And then then Brady, when you're done, Jen,
Oh yeah.
sorry, I'm going to have you introduce Weather Trollbot 5000.
Oh my god, this is my favorite.
So
I just
remember
think,
all of our weather friends that are getting picked on and trolled on social media and everything else, we're going to find out what they're really thinking thanks to our garage sale reboot Weather Trollbot 5000.
I love it.
All right.
Yes.
And then when I'm done with that, MJ, I'll go to you, Freak Fan Box.
I do not have anything, so don't
All right.
go to me.
So no Freak Fan Box. No
I
one
could
loves
send a
us.
quick email and just
It's only been 6.5 days. So.
Then I will close. After Weather Trollbot. All right. We ready? Everybody good?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right.
Yep.
All this stuff, just so you know, MJ, all this stuff is really quiet to me. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've really had to tune down everything, so I can like barely hear the audience applause.
Well, you did make it quieter. It was super loud at first.
Okay.
And you did make it a little bit quieter, but
All right. Well, here we go, Brady. Coming in 3, 2.
Ooh, listen it up this time. Well, it's that time in the Welcome Back to Stormfront Freaks podcast. And you know what? Happy Christmas. Merry holidays. I don't even know what to say anymore. But guess what, guys? It is time for Weather Fools. For those that aren't familiar with Weather Fools, if it's your first time or if you're just a forgetful person like I am, Weather Fools, basically us as the freaks, we're going out on the web, the dark web, as Phil likes to call it. We're going out on Twitter, anywhere where we can find videos or anything, and we're looking for someone that did something not so smart, and it deals with the weather. So, Phil, I'll start with you. Mr. Dark Web, what is your weather?
Hey, which is good. I need to correct you a little bit, Brady. I'm not like searching through the dark web for all this stuff. like Weather Fools, this stuff is just on the regular web, right? Like
You're right.
Like the dark web is where we're finding our wasted weather clips.
Yeah, you're right.
And our potty mouth forecast.
You leave it open
because
because sometimes you can find it on the dark web, sometimes you find it on the regular web. You know,
and that's also where we find our porn or storm chaser segment clips. If you remember that.
Oh man.
But this is hashtag Weather Fools, so I've got one to share with you. Of course, if you guys recall, we've had some severe weather in the last few weeks out on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New York. Getting out there on the East Coast, and this was actually a storm chaser, Mark Doucette, I believe is his name, but he took some video while he was crossing Sunrise Highway on Long Island. Do we have a date on this? I don't see a date on that.
Scroll down; it'll be by video.
There we go, November 13th. So anyway, this was his video, and you'll notice they're driving right along the highway. You can see the tornado off to the right.
yeah.
And I'm not necessarily going to say that these guys are weather fools. They're I would imagine they're somewhat trained storm chasers. They're not directly in the path necessarily, but look at all the cars on the highway. I mean, they're not all storm chasers. How many of them even know what the hell's going on? But you can see the debris and the leaves starting to fly. The road's starting to get covered with sticks and debris and all kinds of things like that. So it's just sometimes realizing there's so many weather unaware people out on the road during this. You can just see all that debris.
Oh my, yeah.
Wow.
Like the road's covered now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people probably have no idea. I mean, they're probably just driving, and they probably still might not know there was a tornado.
They're probably just thinking it's really windy.
They're like,
Wow.
look, it's all these, it's fall, right? I don't know.
So just another reason why, right? If you're in your car and it's just, again, be weather aware of what your day is supposed to look like. Are there potential for severe weather in your area? Just be aware, and then keep the little portable weather radio that Bruce and Jen were talking about having, or something, right? Just keep something there so you know what the heck is going on and where it's happening.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Phil. And actually, I'm going to go to my weather fool right now too, because my weather fool actually is on the same day in New York, right? So it's the same area, and the lady filming is not weather fool. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it play, and you can clearly tell, right? There's some wind and it's a storm. Don't really see a tornado, but you really start to see. I mean, breeze going everywhere. I mean,
you're Brady. Brady, your audio when you start
talking, pause it right there.
You can't even hear me. Hey, so Brady, when you start playing your video, your audio goes crap. Yeah, no, now, but just so you know, when you start talking while you play a video, this happened last episode. Your audio goes crap.
Oh.
Like we can't. It's all over the place. So don't talk and play video at the same time.
Oh,
why does that guy have his car door open?
You know what? I love my internet. Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to pause it. Should I restart, Phil, or should I just want me to keep going?
Yes.
No, just you can either play it and then we'll talk, or just pause it and you can talk. I don't care, but don't talk and play at the same time, right? Don't chew gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm going to restart the video and I'll let you guys narrate it. But the weather fool is this guy right here. For some reason he's out of his car. I don't know if you can see that. He's
out of his pickup
he's out of his pickup for some reason. And you can see like a couple frames before, like that's when the debris is just flying. I mean, what is he? He opens the door and he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna get out and see what's going on. And then
there's a ton of debris and maybe a tornado in there.
A branch comes and nails him in the head, and then he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I guess.
Yeah.
That's what could happen.
So let me play. I'll start from the beginning, and I'll cut it here. So, all right, 3, 2. All right, Phil. Well, my weather fool actually relates to that a lot. It's on the same day from the same area, New York, on November 13th, and this was actually a tornado warning that was issued. And you can't necessarily see a tornado in the video, but you see some crazy debris, and I'll let you guys take it from there with who actually my weather fool is this week.
All right, so they're basically sitting at a stoplight, but you can tell it's
dark and windy.
What's in front of them? Yeah. Okay.
Trees are all over the place.
And so is that a funnel in front of them, or it looks like it's coming from the right now.
Now this dude gets out of his pickup.
Right there. Yeah.
He's getting out of his pickup while all that debris is flying all over the place.
Trees are 45 degrees and there's debris everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah. So that was my and you guys can see the clip. I'll put it online. But the weather fool isn't the person videoing; it's the person who gets out of their pickup in the middle of the intersection, nonetheless, in the middle of a possible tornado. So, yeah, I just think people are interesting when you have extreme weather that happens. So, all right, MJ, I know you have 2 this week, Mr. Overachiever. You want to go ahead, MJ?
Well, I bring in the listener contributions. So we got these both come from Jay Bingham, our friend, and they're kind of a twist on turn around, don't drown. We've had lots of those, right, where you see the crazy people driving through the way too deep water with their vehicles, and some of them don't make it and some of them do, luckily, but it's just a bad idea. Well, there's a couple of them here that Jay contributed that are a little bit different. If you watch this video, watch what happens. A biker comes by.
Oh my God.
Riding through this massive storm, and you kind of go, okay, that's not real smart. Well, how about check out this one? And again, this is a biker, and they are biking, and they are up to their butt just about in water, biking through the flood. They're just pedaling along, trying to get there. I guess they can't legally maybe be on the highway. I don't know. But
so here's my question. Is that someone who's just trying to get attention, and I'm going to get on my bike like I'm normally riding on the street, but it's just a flooded street going up to my butt? Or is there like some true resistance training going on there, or something that I don't know about? I don't know.
Maybe Phil, it's like modern day planking. It's just become a meme, right? And everyone's just trying to copy each other. I don't know.
All right, you're next, Brady. You're next.
All right. MJ, is that you got another one?
No, that was 2. You noticed there were 2 different videos.
Got it. Okay, got it. Well, I think I'm going to try that. I think I might, I don't have a bike, but I might try that with the scooter. I know they've got some of those those like Lime scooters. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, get some cardio in.
Yeah, electric.
Yeah, that electric scooter is going to work really good.
It's got to be waterproof, right, or water resistant, maybe. Well, I guess we'll find out. All right, Kim. Last but not least, who's your weather for this week?
Okay, well, this is from something I found online. It's called Funny and Weird Weather, Best Nature Fails. And this, you've got to look at this, you guys. We'll put this in the show notes. But there's probably maybe 50 clips of people doing really stupid things. So, and it's hilarious, unfortunately. So here's the first one I want to show you. And this woman is standing, looks like right next to the one.
Screaming.
Oh God, that's so fake.
Hit by a fish.
You think that was
so
fake?
Oh, you know it's fake. Kim, if you're falling for that shit, oh my God, don't you dare.
No, I think it's real.
Don't you dare.
Kim, it's real.
Don't you
Looks fake.
dare.
That one
Did I
looks
skip
fake.
over that one?
It's
Okay.
real.
Oh my
I thought it was
God.
real.
It
I
is
think she just
not
gets slammed
real.
with
It's
Oh,
fish and
real.
water,
God,
and it's
it is
got, okay.
not real.
All right. There was a big fish in that.
Oh, you guys are the reason they get 2 million views for something like that.
Now wait
Are
a minute,
you-
but it was on the internet. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
this
right,
isn't
so
the
here's-
dark web, Phil. This is the actual internet.
Okay, so here, watch this. Okay, there's flooding going on. I don't know where this is. I think it's somewhere not in the United States, but this person is actually sliding down the road. There's running water, a flood going on, and they are like butt surfing down the road. So watch, look at this.
Oh my God.
Oh my, and it hits like probably a manhole or
It's
something,
really-
gets
yeah.
up and
Rips her
guys,
pants, probably.
Yeah, probably ripped her pants.
That
And
water's
she's
really
about ready to
moving.
try it
Yeah.
again. I think it's a woman, I think. There she goes.
There we go. Okay.
Skiing.
Oh, that's not
For,
going to work.
And then there we go.
That's not- there's
Goes
the balls.
down, continues to go down the
Oh my
road.
God.
And on her rear end. And there's so many of these great clips. Now, this is hilarious. Look at this.
That's amazing.
All those trash cans
There's trash
going down
cans
the flooded
going
street.
down. There must be 20 trash
Big
cans in
chain
a
of
row
them.
going down the road because of the flooded road, and people didn't take their trash in.
Oh.
So that one was good. But this is the one I want to show you, where we have a ton of snow and ice. Cars are slipping down the road. People are trying to stop the cars.
Oh, jeez.
That's
sliding.
the stupid
They
part
are
right there.
getting
Part,
in
yeah,
front of the
get in front of
cars.
that
Oh, he's
car.
stopping the
Look at
truck.
all
He's
the
getting in front of a truck trying to stop the truck from sliding. That is
Yes.
not smart.
That is
It's
not
not
smart.
smart.
Yeah, maybe 2 people can do it. Try
Yeah,
2.
look,
Nope.
There's 4. Look,
No,
there's
because
4
there's
or
like
5
6 of
down
them
here.
around the car that's
And
not
they
working.
just don't have any luck. It's Mother Nature is in control
Oh,
here,
God.
and they can't stop this.
Wow.
So-
You win because there's 10 weather fools or more.
there's
in
a-
there.
Yeah.
You want to know the
All
smartest
over the place.
person in that whole scene was the person videotaping that whole thing.
Right.
That was the smartest person
Yep.
up on a balcony going, here's an opportunity.
But you guys, you've got to check this out. There's so many good ones. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I'll send you the link.
Well, that's great, Kim. Thanks to all of our weather fools. Thank you for giving us some great content. If you want to check these out, we're going to have the links to all of these in your favorite podcast app or wherever you get your podcast. Just look in the show notes section for episode 145.
I love the vibes, guys. This is great. So, have you ever wondered what those meteorologists are really thinking? And what I mean about that, we have our weather friends that work really hard, but every now and again, they get trolled on the internet, on the social channels, but they respond in such a polite way, but they've got to be thinking something else. Well, you know what? We have Weather Trollbot 5000 to tell us exactly what they were thinking. And we found some really good ones for today. So, Phil, please share them with us.
Yeah, so we got some good ones, Jen, and I love making use of this. Found her in a garage sale, and we just have kind of repurposed her to be able to interpret what they're all thinking, which is fun. And she usually gets it right. I mean, we get a lot of feedback on Weather Trollbot. People that love this segment, love Weather Trollbot. They want one, but this is kind of a one of a kind deal. Like there's only one of her out there. But I've got two examples to share with you tonight. One is from a friend of ours, friend of the show. He's been on before. Michael Cook has been with us. Storm Chaser out on the East Coast. Weather Going Wild is his Twitter handle. But he put up, and I'm going to share my screen, MJ. If you can pull this up. This was the image that Michael posted on Twitter. Which, if you can see that, it's an image of a empty highway. Is right down the middle of the highway. Some beautiful storm clouds out there in the distance. Really neat and edited well. I think it looks really good. Well, the feedback he got from Charles R. Aliff Jr. at Parrot Mad Tom. Charles said, "Hey, the picture has excellent composition, but it's oversaturated with color, which diminishes the capture. It's a bit cartoonish. Back off the contrast and saturation bar a bit for a much more realistic picture." Just saying.
Well,
right? Like
Yikes.
you guys look at that, and that's what you're going to respond with.
It's a
You know, it's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
So Michael responds. He says, "Hey, I appreciate it. This was taken with my iPhone." So, you know, even Michael's being professional, like most people are, responding nice, you know, but we all know that that's not what Michael was really thinking when he read that response by Charles. So what we're going to do is we basically have to just kind of input this into Weather Trollbot.
It's a lot of typing.
Well, there's a lot to type in there. So
You're right.
give me a break. All right, and then what kicks out? We're gonna Weather Trollbot's gonna tell us what Michael was really thinking.
Here is what Michael was really thinking. Fucking cartoonish. This sister shit thinks the photo is a bit cartoonish. It was taken with my iPhone, you douchebag. Just saying.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, my ears are burning. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, hey, that's what Michael was really thinking. I'm not right.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's
you
fun.
don't know. No way.
So
Dang.
obviously, yeah. So anyway, so hey, but I've got one more. I know you guys want more. So this is from meteorologist Katie Nicolau, I think is how you pronounce her last name. She's a meteorologist at CBS 14 in Sioux City, Iowa. This also is on Twitter. Peter Smith, who's at Peter SM 09078044. So I don't know how real Peter Smith is.
Yeah, the more numbers, the more suspicious, I think.
It's a little suspicious, but
Yeah.
but here's what Peter Smith had to say on Twitter. He said, "At Weather Katie, do you get periods or menopause?"
Oh,
Oh my god!
Like what the hell? Like really?
Oh my god! This better
Like,
be good, Phil. This trollbot.
I don't even get that. I
that
don't
guy
get it. But
definitely doesn't have a girlfriend.
so
It's a
you
bot.
think?
Yeah.
You think?
No way.
So Katie, here's how Katie responded. You know, was professional about it, but said, "Oh man, today is not the day to send this to me. It's never okay to tweet this, but definitely not today."
Oh, okay.
So that was her response. But let's go ahead and enter that into Weather Trollbot. And she's going to go ahead and compute. And let's find out.
Here is what Katie was really thinking. Who really writes this shit? Are there really people out there that write this shit?
That is so true.
It's like,
Oh
really?
my gosh.
Oh, man.
That was like
Unbelievable.
It is
That's
hard
the
to
word.
believe that someone sits in their living room and browses through Twitter and thinks, "Hey, I'm going to type this into my phone, responding to someone in real life saying this." Like, there's no way they would ever say that to their face, ever.
No.
I don't get it.
Oh, man.
I just don't get it. Anyway,
Wow.
holy
oh my
cow.
god, that was good. That was
Some more
good.
weather fools.
Uh-huh.
But if it's so again, I'm not gonna post any of that crap in our show notes. But I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. We want to thank you for listening or watching. Hopefully, you got some great gift ideas out of all this. We definitely wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. But before I announce our next guests, if you like the show, don't forget to subscribe or to follow the Stormfront Freaks Network so you get notified and you get the latest episodes of our show delivered right to your podcast player the moment that it gets released. That's the benefits of being able to follow or subscribe on whatever you happen to be listening to us on. Also, as we mentioned earlier, visit patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks. And you can check out all the ways we can do more with you. And you can also help support the show, whether it's the live access to view and chat with us during our raw recordings. I know we had Curtis was on tonight. Curtis dominated
He dominated
the chat tonight. Way to go,
did.
Curtis, buddy.
There you go, Curtis.
And just a little shout out. I know Curtis has a podcast that he has started as well. PDS. Help me out in the comments, Curtis, with your podcast. PDS something. So you search PDS, I guarantee you'll probably find it on your podcast player. And then, of course, we also got we got Dan and Angela joining us, our VIPs tonight. So you can also join us live on the show like they have and had a chance to chat with Bruce as well. You can visit patreon.com/StormfrontFreaks. You can join our team. And again, thank you to all of you for helping to support the show. Curtis said it is the PDS podcast. So there you go. I had it right.
Podcat.
Podscat.
Genius.
Yeah, little typo. I'm sure it's.
Let me know. Let me know if you need some cats on there. I can always bring them.
You got it. So special thanks to our guest tonight, Bruce Jones with Midland. So it's great having Bruce on again as well. And so at Freaks, I always started doing this is give people a chance to find out where they can find you and follow you on social media or wherever. So Kim, where can people follow you?
I'm on Twitter sometimes, not a lot, but just Kim Cunningham WX on Twitter. And that's really it.
Very good. Jen?
At JWatson_WX on Twitter and at Jennifer Weather on Instagram. I'm more active these days on Instagram if you want to get in touch with me there.
Cool. How about you, Brady?
At Brady Harris WX on Twitter. I do have a couple burners, but I won't give those out. And I do have a parody Instagram account. I won't give that out as well. So
I don't know what's a burner.
A burner is a Twitter account that it's under an alias. So it's just a cool thing to do nowadays.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, it's
All the
so's
cool
watching
kids.
The Wizard of Oz, and you haven't done that yet. So
Is it Peter Smith by chance?
Yeah.
No. Well, it's not posting like bad things. It's just kind of like I post like memes to try and go viral. That's all.
to try and go viral so no one knows who you are. That's okay.
Exactly.
That's all right. You're not selfish. MJ, what about you?
Twitter at Mark Stormpod, MARC. Someday I'll post something there again.
Very good. You can find me on Twitter at PhilStormPod and also at Stormfront Freak. So our next episode, we're going to be back in a couple weeks recording Raw for our Patreon members on Thursday, December 2nd. So this might be surprising some of you a little bit because this is actually a week earlier than we had planned. So I will notify you tomorrow that we're changing the date on this. But we're actually going Thursday, December 2nd with Dr. Scott Denstadt, who's going to talk about aviation weather and all the cool stuff involved with that. So we're going to geek out a little bit about aviation weather, Dan. You ought to like that a little bit. The audio podcast will be up and available that following week, just so we kind of stick to the normal. Every 2 weeks, you'll get a piece of our podcast. So for MJ and Brady, Kim, Jen, we got Angela and Dan in the house. I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will catch you guys next time. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you, gang. Good job.
All right, thanks,
Nice.
everybody.
That was a marathon.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was
good.
fun though. It was fun.
good.
Yeah. Bruce is good. I love Bruce. He's great.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
a good guy.
super.
Glad he made that work out. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Good.
All
Well,
right,
Kim,
guys.
good to see you again. Don't be
Yeah,
a stranger.
Thanks, you guys. I know it. I'm trying to hang in there. So it's always nice to be
Hey,
You're
on
looking
there.
great, Kim. You're
Together.
looking great.
Thanks, you guys.
That's
Nice
exactly
place.
what I want to hear. I'm trying to hang in there. I don't know.
Thanks for joining us,
Oh, my
Curtis.
gosh.
Good
Yeah,
to
thanks,
have you.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
Let me know.
nice.
Let me know if you want me to appear on your Podscat.
Podscat.
Brady'd love to do that.
All right,
I'm
guys.
the
Everybody
scat
have
man.
a great Thanksgiving.
Yep.
You too, Kim. You
All
too.
right.
We'll see you later.
See,
See
y'all
you guys.
soon. Okay.
Bye.
All right. See you, Brady. See you, Jen.
Bye.
See you guys.